10 reasons why the wealthy and affluent stay addicted to pornography. Addiction and compulsive behavior can affect anyone, regardless of their socioeconomic background. Now, unfortunately, many highly successful individuals struggle with their addiction in silence and are unable to get help for many different reasons. And these days, we've seen the behaviors of several high profile celebrities, media personalities, and executives dragged into the spotlight to be judged by the court of public opinion. And as a result of that, if you're a successful individual, it is more imperative than ever if you struggle with various sexual disorders. To understand the reality of your circumstance. It's also important for those in your inner circle to do so as well. Now, after years of treating high achieving executives and entrepreneurs who suffer from sexually compulsive disorders, I've put together 10 reasons why highly successful, affluent individuals are unlikely to seek help for their out of control behavior and addictions, especially those of a sexual nature. So, the first is letting others down. Now, your success and wealth places you in a position of influence. So, you may be a mentor to some people. You might have family members who look up to you, and you might have employees, partners, and business associates who look to your guidance and leadership. And you also know that demonstrations of wealth, of power, and leadership lead others to sometimes assume that you are a model of not just financial success, but personal integrity as well. So you actually fear letting down all those people. And that fear can keep you from taking responsibility of admitting that you have a serious problem and you're seeking help. And this also ties into entitlement. So you may feel that you deserve everything that you have and more, including your current sexual life. And as out of control as it may be, a sense of entitlement can cause you to believe that it's impossible to have a problem with addiction. And others around you who you employ, who depend on you financially, might also be reluctant to point out your self destructive behavior. They're afraid of losing your support or even losing their jobs. So, seeking help and rebooting from your addiction will put you in contact with professionals whose opinion is not influenced by your status or your influence. The second reason is that there is no rock bottom. Unfortunately, for highly successful individuals, there really isn't such thing as the typical rock bottom moment, right? Like things like losing a spouse, losing your job or your home, like an abundance of resources and a secure financial situation, a very secure and abundant one, kind of insulates you from these revealing experiences, which makes it very difficult for you to realize that there's a serious problem affecting you. You know, a good example would be all the numerous sexual assault accusations which have been publicized in recent years, starting with, the Harvey Weinstein situation. Now, of course, when there is a legitimate sexual addiction involved, it is not until a woman or a man publicizes the behavior of an addict, usually a symptom of their compulsive behavior, that the addict actually experiences a sort of rock bottom for the first time in their life. And even then, in many cases, the rock bottom effect, which usually exposes people to potentially life saving consequences, can be reduced with a really well deployed public relations or legal action, right? A public relations campaign or legal action against the person accusing you. The third is financial concerns. So, if you're a highly successful person who happens to be facing a challenging financial transition in your business and in your lifestyle, an out of control sexual behavior certainly does not help, right? Now, you may have a tendency to dismiss treatment of your addiction because you feel that it is a waste of time and resources when you compare it to the financial emergency that you might have at hand. I see that so often. So, for instance, I've had many of my clients dipping into their company expenses or their operations expenses accounts to finance their compulsion to hire things like people like high-end prostitutes or escorts. Others maintain the lifestyle of multiple mistresses and might feel obligated to do so for fear of losing them against the against the advice of their accountants and their financial advisors. So you don't make the best financial decisions when you are compulsively chasing sexual highs or when you're high on substances. The reality is that your decisions made under the influence of addiction lead to a worsening of any existing financial crises you have, right? And seeking support for this can only help you. The fourth reason is fear of leaving work. Now, your position at work is important to you, and in many cases, it might be the ultimate validation of your identity and your position. You may have the belief that you cannot take breaks or any vacations, and if you do, you might end up jeopardizing the success of your company or your position, which you've achieved through incredible amounts of hard work. Now, when you struggle with a sexually compulsive disorder, your performance at work is adversely affected, and this is inevitable, right? The fear of losing your career or your business can slowly build up. You may even have started mixing drugs with your work and with sex to enhance both the experience and to keep you working longer and more focused hours. And you feel that you can balance both work and your out of control sexual life by using drugs. This is a very dangerous place to be. The fifth is an inability to identify with other addicts. Now, the common stereotypes of addicts as these poorly dressed, homeless, disheveled people on the street, what is popularized by popular culture, TV shows. Basically, what you see on the street, in your vehicle, on your commute to and from work, emphasizes this. And your self-belief as a person who's in control, who dresses well, who has power, it's kind of difficult to accept the reality that addiction can affect anyone, especially someone like you. So, sex and pornography addiction is no different from a substance abuse addiction in the destructiveness that it wreaks on your life. You're still addicted to chemicals, albeit the chemical cocktail that is released in your brain, an endogenous cocktail. So when you expose yourself to pornographic material compulsively or you chase a sexual experience compulsively, that's what's happening. And addiction can affect anyone, regardless of net worth, your social status, or how high functioning you think you are. The sixth is a risk to your reputation. Now, no successful, wealthy professional wants to risk their addiction affecting their reputation in any way. So if there's even the slightest risk that there will be a legal record of your behavior, you're just not going to take the risk. The fear is going to cause you to conceal your behavior even more. And I understand. However, it is precisely for this reason that you should seek professional help with your addictive behavior. Because the longer you wait to seek help, the higher chances of those legal repercussions damaging your reputation. You want to pay attention to this. The seventh is that your addictive behavior is hidden by other disorders. Now, sometimes a sexual addiction is hidden by addiction to other substances, such as painkillers or opioids or antidepressants. And often, as a highly successful individual, you might be spending years dependent on a prescription medication, which keeps you absolutely oblivious to other issues that you might be struggling with. Oftentimes, a past history of trauma could also be obscured, not just by the abuse of prescription medication and opioids, but by false beliefs, like the belief that I have a high sex drive, even though your sexual behavior may be causing adverse effects to your relationships, to your career, your health, and your finances. The next is divorce and children. Now, it's no secret that the divorce rate among highly successful CEOs, business owners, executives, and many other affluent individuals is high. It is what it is. But admitting to sex addiction can not only be a one-way ticket to divorce, it can also put a successful person at a serious disadvantage when it comes to custody of your children or even in divorce proceedings. And this fear only serves to make you conceal your behavior even more, which is much to your detriment. In the meantime, you try your best to maintain the illusion of a perfect family, and that's not helping either. But it's the reason why you're not seeking help. The ninth reason is rationalizing behavior. Your high confidence can cause you to rationalize your behavior to extremes, right? I hear all sorts of BS rationalizations. Let me think of a few of them. Okay, you know what? I have sex with prostitutes because I'm too busy and I don't have time for relationships. Or I watch pornography because it's the only way that I can get an erection these days. Or, JK, you don't understand, man. It's like it's the only way that I can reduce my stress, right? Listen, I'm not an addict. I only do these things when I'm on the road or when I'm on a business trip. For those of you who take substances parallel to your compulsive sexual behavior, I've also heard variations of things like, my doctor prescribed this to me, that's the reason why I take it, even though you're taking more than the recommended dose, or, blaming it on your doctor, or drinking helps me deal with stress, it just helps me unwind after a long day, or sex is so much better under the influence of this substance or this combination of substances, or at least I'm not taking this other substance like a harder drug like heroin, and I'm still able to function the next day, right? So just understand that the dark side of great confidence is great rationalization or addictive behavior, which ends up hurting you. The 10th is the stigma of addiction. Now, sex and pornography addiction comes with a stigma of weakness, failure, and poor judgments, which are not really qualities that are associated with someone who is successful or someone who is high performing or someone who is affluent. And if you are a celebrity in your industry or if you're a highly visible person, the stigma of such an addiction can make it very difficult to become vulnerable and to honestly seek help. So I want to let you know that if you're in this situation and you're struggling with a porn or a sex addiction, that there is help available for you. But these are the things that are holding you back, and hopefully becoming aware of these things will help you make the right decisions that are going to help you when it comes to ending your out of control behavior. I'm JK Amazy. I'm the founder of Elevated Recovery, and if you found this video helpful, you can check out our YouTube channel or you can visit our website at elevatedrecovery.org and find out if we can support you.